Fear, a simple word, yet the most powerful instinct we possess. It protects us, shapes us, and sometimes controls our entire lives. But what if fear isn't natural? What if it can be created from nothing? In 1920, psychologists conducted one of the most disturbing experiments in history, a study that conditioned terror into an innocent baby. This baby would be remembered by one haunting name, Little Albert. Our story begins at Johns Hopkins University, where psychologist John B. Watson believed all human emotions were learned, not born. Watson claimed the mind was a blank slate, no fears, no phobias, everything could be shaped like clay. To prove it, he needed someone innocent, someone pure, someone whose emotions had not yet formed. He needed a baby. A healthy, calm, smiling 9-month-old arrived at the hospital nursery. This child would soon become Watson's subject. He showed no fear of anything, not animals, not masks, not loud toys. Watson saw the perfect test subject, a child untouched by fear. Next came the core question: can fear be installed into a human mind like software? To test this, Watson chose a harmless white rat, soft, gentle, and friendly. Albert loved the rat. He reached for it happily, smiling as it moved beside him. But Watson introduced a new element, something Albert had never heard before. A steel bar and a hammer. Struck together, they produced a sharp, violent sound, a sound so loud that even adults jumped. Now imagine hearing it while holding a rat. Albert touched the rat. Watson slammed the metal bar. Albert jolted in terror. His eyes widened. His breath stopped, but he didn't cry, not yet. The next trials continued. Rat, bang, rat, bang. Albert began trembling the moment the rat appeared, even before the noise happened. Finally, the fear rooted itself deep inside him. Albert cried, just seeing the rat. Watson had successfully installed a phobia into a human being, but the experiment was far from over. Watson wanted to test a darker idea. Would Albert fear other objects too? This concept is called generalization, when one fear spreads to many things. They brought in a rabbit. Albert cried. They showed him a dog. He cried again. A fur coat, crying. A Santa Claus mask, screaming. Anything white, anything soft, anything furry. Albert reacted with terror. A simple experiment had now expanded into a world of fear for a baby who once feared nothing. The shocking part, they never reversed his fear. No comfort, no therapy, no attempt to heal the child. When the study ended, Albert was simply taken away, still terrified of the world around him. Psychologists moved on, but Albert did not. The mystery begins. For nearly a century, the world asked a chilling question. What happened to little Albert? No records, no follow-up, no official name, just one line in textbooks. Little Albert disappeared. Decades later, researchers reopened the case, searching hospital archives. They found a baby named Douglas Merritt, born the same year, in the same hospital. Douglas matched every description of Albert, except for one heartbreaking detail. He died at age 6 from a severe medical condition. If Douglas was Albert, he never lived long enough to overcome the trauma. But another theory emerged years later. A second child matched the records, William Albert Barger. William lived a long life, into his 70s, but according to family, he feared animals his entire life, a lifelong echo of a fear he never chose. The legacy. The Little Albert experiment became a turning point in psychology. It revealed a terrifying truth. Fear is not always natural. Sometimes it is taught, and once it enters the mind, it can spread far beyond its original source. Albert's suffering forced psychology to rewrite its ethical rules. Today, such an experiment would be impossible and illegal. No consent, no protection, no care. Little Albert had none of these, but because of him, millions of people in future studies would be safer. The closing one baby, one rat, one hammer, and a lesson that changed the world forever. Fear can be created, but it can also be understood and unlearned. This is Factverse. Discover amazing facts.